Hello guys, this is the Eradicator and welcome to my channel. Today is Friday, it's ATV day around the verse. My goodness, we got a lot to talk about. So, well, let's get started right now with our, of course, Star Citizen logo here. And we're having, as always, more community stuff. I think by now, many have seen this nice little montage. It's true. Who by Jade Doe? Yeah, 277 Shade of Star Citizen. Amazing, by the way. Must have taken a really long amount of time. But this is Deja Vu. I mean, it was featured in many other channels, such as, for example, Montoya. Great channel, by the way. I'll put the link down below if you want to check out his channel. He likes to comment on Star Citizen too.
And welcome to another episode of Around
And today we have Eric, Karen Davis, and Josh Herman. So it's already 40 seconds with a little summary of what they're going to have here. All right, great. Let's move forward because they're still going to show some fluff here, community stuff from apparently from a French community, and they managed to have a 50-man battle. So guys, I stopped here. This is when Around the Verse starts. It's already been 1 minute and 2 seconds, and you can see the total video, the total length of video there is just 8 minutes and 40 seconds. We're gonna talk about that later, but yeah, so we've already wasted 1 minute and 2 seconds.
Of FPS gameplay is creating
But let's listen to Eric, Karen Davis.
The AI of the NPCs. To that end, the animation and AI teams have been working together on collision avoidance for NPCs in FPS situations.
Oh.
Yeah.
Here's senior animation programmer Adam Rutkowski and lead AI programmer Francesco Roccucci with more.
So it's great they're talking about this because pathfinding is going to be extremely important when subsumption is fully in place and we start to have an NPC-driven economy. We absolutely don't want the NPCs to be stuck somewhere. And I'll explain to you after we watch what they're saying.
Recently, we've been looking at improving collision avoidance with the AI.
Never
with
seen
players,
this guy before.
They tend to be really unpredictable, and so we have to be quite reactive. We need to make the animations work in a slightly different way because we just don't know what they're going to do at any point in time. But with AI, it's a different story because we sort of look in advance a little bit and make up a nicer path for them to follow. But sometimes they need to be reactive too, and one of those cases is with collision avoidance.
Well, that's great. I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen all these NPCs, especially in Loreville. They like to bump into you, and this can be very annoying. For example, let's say you're posing a little bit or you're speaking, and they will just just go on their path and bump you. Or even worse, happened to me one day. I was at the Dropbox, or Kovalek's Dropbox. I was trying to put back the box, and then an NPC ran into me, and I was drifting as I was trying to put the box into the machine. I was drifting, and the box ended up falling on the ground. It was not in the machine, and then it disappeared into the ground, and the mission was withdrawn. I lost 8,000 alpha UECs like that. So yeah, it's great that we're going to have that. I think it's for 3.5. It's great we're going to have that for 3.5, and that is going to bring some solid foundations for the future. Again, I'll talk about it when we finish this segment here.
So we'll have the AI just nicely moving along, following his path, and then all of a sudden the collision avoidance system will detect that he's going to run into another character or run into a player, and it will just suddenly say, hey, I need you to suddenly move over in this direction right now or you're going to have a collision.
So what we do in the case is like when the moment
we haven't
is
seen
active,
him in a long time.
We allow the object collision avoidance code to kick in and calculate of the guys that are around you where to go effectively to avoid each other. So mathematically, we try to calculate how far are we with a collision. So we basically predict with your speed and my speed when in time are gonna collide. And do we have enough time to avoid each other, and how harsh the avoidance needs to be. The collision avoidance code that we use is called ORCA, that is for optimal reciprocal collision avoidance. Basically, it tries to find the optimal value for our speeds to avoid each other.
We now have it tell the locomotion system, hey, I need you to make this adjustment as well as you can. Then what we're doing is we're rebuilding the path around where the AI is moving, taking that avoidance into account. We can check on the nav mesh, make sure that it's looking nice. We can change the animations that they're playing. We can do all sorts of extra planning because that system knows what's going on. We can then pass that across to the clients, and then the client will just follow what it says. So the hope is this will make them generally move better, stay in sync better. It can decide what animations would look best, and generally try to rebuild a nice path around the AI, and then be able to keep it clamped onto the path, which is what we're aiming for. So this is what the new system's going to do, and we hope that that will make desynchronizations less of an issue in future. And there's a few other cool things that we can do with this now that we know that they're always clamped to that path.
All right, so only 2 minutes for this segment. Very sad, because there's really a lot to talk about, and I wish that they had explained the implications, for example, of why this is extremely important to build the economy in the future. Now I'm gonna have to do this. That's really sad. It's not my job as a content creator to do these things. My job as a content creator is to show how fun the game is. I don't want to be a substitute of ATV. So the reason why this is extremely important, guys, is we know the economy is going to be driven by NPCs in the future. About 90% of the verse is going to be populated by NPCs, and so it's very important that these NPCs know exactly where they're going, and especially they don't get stuck, because every single NPC is going to have his own role, his own mission, and his importance, or their importance in the verse. Let's say, for example, you are a farmer. And you are going to grow crops. You need agricultural supplies, which we can buy in Levski, as we know right now. So you're gonna need these agricultural supplies, but you don't have time, you don't have the assets to bring them to your farm. So you're going to hire an NPC merchant, maybe, or maybe the NPC farm will hire an NPC merchant to supply their farm with agricultural supplies. What if the NPC farmer gets stuck in Levski, for example, because there are other NPCs, he goes behind a console or whatsoever, then that NPC is gonna be stuck. And the farm is never going to get the agricultural supplies. That because the farm doesn't get the agricultural supplies, well, sure, they can always hire another one, but if they are NPCs, they won't do that immediately, and so the farm won't be able to produce, and the farm won't be able to produce, then there will be no more food. And because we know we're going to need food in the verse, so these are going to be things that we won't be able to consume. So, and all of that because of bad pathfinding. So it's to avoid these problems that pathfinding absolutely needs to be perfected to the maximum, and that's what they're doing here. I'm really glad to see that.
Star Citizen Public Roadmap, you can find a variety of features and improvements our teams around the world are working on.
Well, we're going to check that tomorrow, because as they are saying it, the roadmap is, of course, not updated. They always update that on Fridays. But yeah, it's cool you are talking about the roadmap. I just wish we could be updated a little bit more here on ATV and not on the roadmap.
Let's check in with lead network programmer Clive Johnson, who's going to tell us about some of the upcoming network service improvements slated for Alpha 3.5.
Well, that's also the other thing that we absolutely need. I'm sure most of you who are playing regularly have experienced the servers breaking down. It happened to me yesterday. I was traveling from Port Elizabeth to Aberdeen, and I had this package that was worth 8,900 Alpha UEC, and I just arrived to the drop box, pressed the button, it doesn't work because nothing works anymore. Everybody else in the server were stuck, and basically the server was stalling left for about 10 to 15 minutes, and then it went back to normal. But that's really annoying when that happened, and hopefully this is also what they are working on here to improve, server stability and how the game works.
For 3.5, the network team are working on object container streaming installs. We introduced object container streaming in 3.4. And you may
no, 3.3, not 3.4.
I've noticed that, particularly when quantum traveling, there's a couple of points during the process where you'll get some hitches. The first of these is as you.
That's actually true. I'm sure we all experience that, especially at the very beginning of quantum travel. There's quite a bit of rubber banding at the very beginning, and today we had the answer why. That's because of object container streaming. Object container streaming is unstreaming what you saw before and starting to load the assets that you are going to see in the future, and it takes some time. So that's what they're talking about here. They're talking about improving OCS and the loading while you are actually in quantum travel, and the server is going to do that while you are in quantum travel. So very interesting. Yeah.
Leaving your point of origin behind you, and all the entities there get streamed out, and then you'll get another one a bit later on when you're arriving at your destination, and the new set of entities get streamed in. The work that we're focusing on is the network part of these stalls. There's some other causes, but these are tasked out to other teams. There's a few different issues there, and we're trying to reduce the stalls as much as we can, and eliminate them wherever possible. The other thing we're working on for 3.5 is the async disconnect refactor. That's basically changing our disconnection code.
This happens so many times to all of it. Please tell me in the comments down below, have you ever lost all of your money because of these 15,000 or 30,000 errors?
Previously assumed that everything could be cleaned up in a frame, but with the changes due to OCS again, it takes multiple frames now to get rid of the entities. So we're just kind of making that code more robust, and that should fix some server crashes and client crashes that we've had. Hopefully an occasional bug where people can get stuck on an infinite loading screen when they're quitting back to front end.
Oh yeah, infinite loading screen, get that one very often too.
As always, the public roadmap is your tool to see what's coming up in the development of Star Citizen.
Yeah, and past that.
Okay, second time they mentioned the public roadmap. First, it's not updated until Friday, so I think everybody's already checked it out. Second, I want to be updated here.
Episodes, we've gotten to look at the cryo geysers on ArcCorp's moon Lyria, and we explored VFX work on damaged thruster effects.
I'm so fired up about the moons of ArcCorp.
With updates on both. Check it out.
At the moment, I'm working on 2 FX assets.
So let's check out. We're going to fast forward a little bit. Look at that.
The small drops of water coming out of the geyser are transforming into snow because of the coldness of the Lyria moon.
The beginning of it's interesting. The beginning of the animation really looks very smooth and fantastic. The end looks more like pyrotechnic effects. So I'm not so convinced about the end of that animation, but overall, I'm really excited about Lyria.
The effect is not an easy one to make. It has to look good in different types of environment, in ecosystems.
Look at that.
In some type
Look
of
at that.
We have much more
a little haze, and then I would love just to fly through these.
What I did is put some more speed and turbulence. So in this case,
so there is going to be wind. I wonder how this is going to affect flying there.
Over there. What I was trying to achieve with the geyser effect is to make it look a little bit more different than the normal ones, than the Earth that we see everywhere.
Okay. And so we've seen that also last time. So we have a little update because they've been listening to our feedback and they're telling us they're listening to our feedback. So that's really good. But nothing very fantastic. And so here that's all. That's all we have in ATV. So that's the end. So 7:25. And there's still 1 minute and 20. So we already have 1 minute 20 plus. So we have 2 minutes and 30. So 2 minutes and a half of fluff. So overall, this ATV around the verse, we have 6 minutes of content. And that, I mean, it's been going down and down and then we've had less and less and less and less, and that is not acceptable. We don't have calling all devs. Of course, we don't have bug smashers. We don't have 10 for the chairman. Yeah, so apparently all of this is funded by. I'm glad I'm not a subscriber, to be honest, guys. I am glad I'm not a subscriber. So seriously, what is going on? And the worst part is, I'm not the only one ranting about the lack of content and finding that quite unacceptable. So I'm not the only one finding that unacceptable. And if we look at those at the forums here, the spectrum. There's actually a lot of people out there declining quality of community paid content like ATV. Is ATV pushing the cost of production too far? Why don't we have so much there? So the forums are on fire once again because we're not getting we're not getting what we used to have before, and we want something to bite, guys. This is not enough. Why don't we see more? We want to see more of Lyria. You want to show us the pathfinding. Show us more of that too. And if we look at the roadmap, so you were saying at the roadmap, 3.5 is around the corner, guys. Let's go to the roadmap. So I'm going to spaceindustries.com here, community development roadmap. All right, and so here we go. So, for example, we haven't seen anything about Teacher Paccio. We've barely seen how DNA face customization is working on. We want to see more about, playable female characters. There's tons of things you can show us about ArcCorp or Area 18, the landing zone. We don't know what's the difference between how it was before and how it is now. What else don't we have? Well, yeah, we've seen that collision avoidance. Great. What else? System heat. Well, not that interesting. Vehicle tech updates. I haven't seen that so much. So what are we going to see next? Are we going to see voice over IP improvement that nobody cares? Is that what's coming up in the next ATV? Come on, guys. You have a lot of how about the Origin 300 reworks? Why don't you talk about this? I mean, lots of you guys are very excited about this. Why don't we see that? These are some of the many things that they can talk about in ATV, and they don't. We just see the same thing as last week, and it only lasts for 6 minutes. 6 minutes of content, guys. So, yeah, WTF? This is not acceptable, and I am, I'm very excited about Star Citizen, and I always, this channel is really about sharing my enthusiasm about this project, but at the same time, when I believe that CIG needs to be called out, then I don't hesitate to do it. That's what I'm doing today. Tell me in the comments what you think, guys, about the situation of ATV. Is it enough? Do we see enough content? Are they making enough efforts, or are you satisfied that they condensate everything into 6 minutes? Please tell me in the comments down below. This is the Eradicator. I'm signing out. This month we're having a giveaway. Guess what, guys? It's the anniversary of the channel. That's right, I started working on this channel last year at the same period, and I really want to give back, guys, everything you've given to me, all that love, all that support, these comments. Really, you're making this possible, and the least I could do is to organize this giveaway. I am going to give away a 325A with lifetime insurance. I've actually unmelted this one back in January, as you can see. I already had this giveaway in plan and in mind, and it's happening. So all you need to do is to subscribe to this channel and comment one of the videos that are going to be posted this month in February. What I'm going to do next on March 4th at 2 p.m. Beijing time. Now, mark this down in your calendar. March 4th, 2 p.m. Beijing time. There will be a lucky draw. It will be live streamed, so we can know live which video is going to be the winning video and which comments from that winning video is going to get that magnificent 325 A with LTI. Good luck to everybody. Again, thank you so much. This is the Eradicator, and you are watching my channel.